The last thing my coworker Mia said before leaving me alone was, "Keep your keys on you." I laughed because I thought she was joking. I'd only worked there 13 days. It was a horror-themed escape room built inside an abandoned underground train station. The old platforms had been turned into attractions, but no matter how many fake cobwebs and plastic skeletons they added, the place still felt wrong. Everyone who worked there had strange rules. One coworker warned me never to enter a room called the shelter after 11 o'clock because it gets cold. Another told me to ignore the ticket windows if they slammed shut by themselves. Nobody ever smiled when they said these things. My first closing shift alone was a quiet Wednesday. Before Mia left, she reminded me one last time. Lock the shelter before 11, ignore any strange noises, and whatever happens, keep your keys on you. At 11:05 p.m., I noticed movement on the CCTV. The shelter was supposed to be empty, but someone, or something, moved between the benches. When I reached the door, freezing air poured into the hallway. Behind it, dozens of voices whispered at once. I forced myself to lock the door. The whispers stopped instantly. I convinced myself it was all part of some prank and returned to reception. Soon the last group finished another escape room. One of them laughed and asked, "Who's the crying woman you added near the end?" My stomach dropped. There was no crying woman in that room. After they left, I checked the cameras. The room was empty. While resetting it, nothing happened, and I slowly convinced myself I'd imagined everything. Then the front doorbell rang. I hurried back to reception, but no one was there. The front door was closed. The street outside was empty. I reached for my keys. They were gone. Panic hit me. I searched everywhere until I heard them jingling behind me. At the end of the corridor stood a little girl holding my keys. She looked about 7 years old, carrying an old teddy bear. Her skin was pale, almost colorless. She smiled and jingled my keys again. "Mom said you can open the door," she whispered. Behind her, figures slowly emerged from the darkness. Men, women, children. Their gray faces stared at me as dozens of voices merged into one desperate whisper. "Open it. Please. Let us out. The air's gone." The little girl stepped closer. "Mom said you have the keys." I ran. I burst out the front entrance without looking back. The last thing I heard before reaching the street wasn't footsteps. It was my keys, jingling behind me, sobbing. I never returned. I ignored every call from work until Mia sent one final message. It was a picture of the staff schedule. My name had been crossed out in red ink. Beside it, she'd written only 4 words. 13 days, longer than most.